Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy New Year! It's 2023.
It's ridiculous.
20. I know it's ridiculous how one year
ridiculous.
just happens after the other one like that.
Ridiculous.
It needs to knock it off.
Shit just keeps coming.
I know, right?
It needs to
It's just
stop.
you never get a break from it.
It needs to stop.
Well, I hope everybody had a good New Year's Eve. We actually had a really good time.
Yeah, had fun. Tired. I'm still tired.
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired too. And we didn't even drink all that much. I mean, we drank some, but we didn't get super fucked up.
No.
Some people did though.
A lot of our friends.
Not us.
A lot of our friends were fucked up.
Yeah, very, very fucked
People
up.
holding them to keep them standing up.
But it was
the girls mostly.
But everyone was in a good mood though. It
Yeah.
wasn't. Nobody got so drunk that it was a bad time. Everybody was just flopping around on the dance floor and stuff. It was pretty funny.
Yep. Looks like I got to make some more tea, huh?
Yes, we're
Okay.
almost out of
I'll make
iced
some.
tea.
I'll make
Yeah, we're
some.
not drinking. We're not drinking any alcohol today.
I'll make some tea when the show's over.
Okay.
I got that ham already cooked down there too. If you want some more ham. Want a
Ham.
ham sandwich or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a ham.
I got all them damn split peas. I need to go make some split pea soup out of the ham. I got ham bones and everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're probably too tired to do that tonight.
Yeah.
though.
Too much.
Tom Sykes says, just a good suggestion for a haunting episode, The Ghost Soldier, and only to critique the fuck out of it for being a lame, boring, and probably made up episode.
It's the worst episode.
I think
Ghost
it
Soldier's
might
the
be.
worst
I think it might be. I mean,
From
I
the
don't
early
know which one we're going to do, because I usually like to do ones that are, kind of entertaining at least, but I don't know. We'll see.
Ghost Soldier is the most boring of the older series, of the original series.
That's true. It was.
Yeah. Although, although there's a few out there that are fucking boring, but yeah, Ghost Soldier's not one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, me neither.
I always kind of dreaded that one when that one came on. I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit, here's this
Yeah.
one again.
The photograph of the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Sykes said, weakest episode in season 1 to 4. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Mango says, still recovering from last night. Think I'm still drunk. Wow, okay, that's pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't get home till probably 3:30, I guess. Well, we went to bed at 3:30, I think, and then I woke up at 7.
Yeah.
But at least I fell back to sleep for an hour or two, so that was nice. Slasher Fred says, I love movies with stop motion animation. I do as well, and honestly, if you are at all into the art form of stop motion animation, then you really got to see Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
Because I feel and I think that Ray Harryhausen himself said that this was his best work and his favorite movie that he had done. Because you have to think that prior to this movie, he had kind of done more B movies, you know what I mean? Didn't he do Beasts from 50,000, 20,000 fathoms? How many fathoms was it?
Yeah.
Beasts from some amount of fathoms.
Something like that, yeah.
And
remember that one?
which was black and white.
There's a lizard that came out of the water, right?
Yeah. And so I feel like Jason and the Argonauts was kind of his big, his first kind of big A-list movie that he worked on. And the thing about it is that I was watching another review of this, and they said the poor guy that directed this, whose name is Don Chaffee, by the way, you feel like he probably never gets any credit for directing this movie, because anytime anybody says Jason and the Argonauts, all anybody thinks of is Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a producer on it, but he didn't direct it. And the monsters that he made, kind of, he had a lot of input about the script and things like that, because, they were kind of playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
One scene to another.
This one had the famous scene where Jason fights all the damn skeletons.
Yeah, I mean, that's easily the best. There's a lot of really cool,
Right.
Scenes in this. And the skeletons, I think, still look amazing, because you have to think of how... I mean, it's stop motion, and Ray Harryhausen, I don't really think he had a crew or didn't really have a big substantial crew. He would usually do most of that shit himself. And to keep track... Because how many skeletons was there?
There's gotta be 6 or 7 of them.
I think there was 7 of them.
Yeah.
And to keep track of all the movements of where they all were in space, because you had to move each one because they're all moving at the same time.
Yeah, and then there's live action actors that had to match up with all that.
How they did that, I saw a thing about how they did that, because I'm sitting there going, how the fuck did they match that up so seamlessly? What they did was they shot all the live action shit first. And then Ray Harryhausen would project the live stuff on a little screen behind his little thing where he was working with the
models.
puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he could like put them like in the frame, you know what I mean? So they'd be in the right spot. That's why it looks so seamless. But like I said, it took forever. They said it took him 4 months.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just to do the skeleton fight or to do like all of the stop motion.
For me personally, I like the Sinbad flicks that he did.
Yeah.
I liked those better than Jason and fucking Clash of the Titans, the Greek ones. Although the Greek stories do have their own charm, they have their own thing going on. But I preferred the Sinbad ones. There's something about the damn Persian sea captain and going to the damn islands and monsters and and yeah, there is some traditional monsters in there, but there's something about in the Sinbad stories, they kind of had a free hand by mixing cultures in there. Like he's traveling from one land to the next. So Sinbad fights, Indian goddess statues
with lots of arms.
Yeah, and fucking Persian sorcerers and fucking.
So it's more of a variety, is what you're saying.
More variety of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and hot chicks dressed like fucking Genie from fucking I Dream of Genie in there, fucking getting shrunk down a little small, and you have them in a cage and try to restore to normal size. And there's just a lot of good ideas, stuff that really was kind of a little bit to me as a kid. I saw them in the theater. They seemed more exotic to me than the Greek stuff.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
The Greek stuff seemed more familiar to me because that's kind of like what you saw at the museum, fucking Museum of Natural History down in Los Angeles. Mom used to take me to that shit when I was a little kid, and the motif there was all Greek stuff. So it just seemed more familiar to me for some reason. The Sinbad ones were closer to like seeing a Star Wars movie for me.
Yeah.
And really, Star Wars is another British movie that was kind of like made by the same dudes that did those Sinbad movies. It's kind of a different evolution of them. But if you've ever seen Clash of the Titans, this is basically the first episode of the Clash of the Titans. You can put them side by side.
I was kind of wondering,
like Clash of the Titans.
The one scene where Jason fights the Hydra to get the Golden Fleece, which is actually not. They did change some shit from like the original myth. I think in the original myth, it wasn't the Hydra that was guarding the fleece. It was just like a regular dragon, one of those regular dragons, like you see every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I was wondering when I was seeing the animation on the Hydra, like the back end of it looked very much like the back end, like the bottom half of Medusa from Clash of the Titans from 1981. And I wondered if he had reused some of the pieces. Which
it looked like the damn. It did look like fucking that same body.
It did.
What's her name again? You just said
Medusa.
On Medusa's body, it looked like Medusa's.
Yeah, it was like
body.
the bottom half of a snake, like all the scales and stuff. So I was wondering, or I mean, maybe he just used the same materials because there was like almost 20 years like in between these two movies. He
might have still had some cast left over.
That's what I was thinking because it did look very, very similar. Yeah. But yeah, so the thing about this movie, I kind of feel like, so this came out in 1963, and like I said, the director's name was Don Chaffee, who, he did some movies, like, I think he went, like, in the 80s, he went and did more, like, TV, but I was actually surprised to find out that he had directed Pete's Dragon, the one from 1977. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
Holy shit.
I thought it was a cartoon, wasn't it?
It was live action with a cartoon dragon, so it was a combination. Yeah. It's funny because when I was a kid, my parents ran a daycare, and Pete's Dragon and Wizard of Oz were the two videotapes that the kids always like wanted to watch every day. So I saw those two movies like hundreds and hundreds of times because it's like they always wanted to watch one of those two. So I was surprised that was the same person. But I feel like so this is essentially, like I said, they did change some of the stuff from the myth. But what you got is Jason, who is kind of like, he's next for the throne to Thessaly, right? But then his uncle, Pelias, he wants the throne. Like, he kills the king, which I don't think happens in the myth. I think he just throws him in jail. But there's a prophecy that says, one of the king's kids will fuck you up and like defeat you. So he's like, oh well, problem solved. I'm just gonna kill all the kids. Yeah. And he does like succeed in killing some of them, but then like I guess Jason's mom takes him to the temple of Hera and then like puts him in like Hera's protection so he doesn't get killed.
Yeah.
That Pelias does straight up kill that woman though, just right there in the temple, just rah. And I was like, God damn, that was cold.
And in true Greek fashion, the Greek gods up on Olympus, they got the hots for the mortals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just watching him.
Hera's like picking out fucking Jason because, you know, he's hot. You know, fucking, and then like Zeus doesn't give a shit. He's fucking turned into a bull and having sex with them mortal women and making demigods and shit. Fucking his son shows up. Hercules is in it. You know.
Can we just talk about how big of a
Hercules
douche
is clown through the whole thing. Yeah.
Hercules is in this movie?
Yeah.
I think like in the timeline of Greek mythology, this was before Hercules, like before the trials of Hercules, before it became like Hercules. So like he's still a demigod and shit, but this is like before like all of the stuff that he did. You know what I mean? So he's like one of the Argonauts. He's on Jason's crew, and when they go to the Isle of Bronze, which is kind of their first stop.
Yeah.
And Hera tells them, she's like, now all you can take from this island is like provisions. You can take food and water, and that's it.
Don't take your treasure.
And Jason says, it's like, you guys, I'm watching you, right? Like, don't take anything. And so they go there, and then they find like all the big, huge bronze statues. And the one of Talos has that little thing underneath. It has this big treasure thing. And so Hercules straight up goes in there and steals... What the fuck is that thing?
It was a hat pin or brooch pin.
It was a brooch, that's right.
It's a brooch pin, but it's for the Titans, though.
So it was
it's
massive.
Huge. He was going to, this is a great spear.
Yeah.
And he stole the spear and got away with the spear, too.
And the other guy was like sitting there going, it's like, we're not supposed to do that. And he's like, oh, they'll never miss it.
No one will miss it, yeah. Well, the thing is, though...
And then he's the one that wakes up Taylor, and then he gets his friend squished. I was like, way to go, Herc.
I'm not sure about the original Greek timeline for Hercules stories. I think they were like modern superheroes of today, where they'd been rebooted many times, and I'm sure people fought over, you know, well that Hercules story is not canon, and that's fan fiction, you know, because Hercules fucking, and each Hercules story is kind of like a standalone, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, in one of them, it's just a morality tale of Hercules turns into a woman. Okay, Hercules is tired of being a man because it's too hard. So it's too fucking hard.
And then he turns into a woman. He's like, oh wait, this sucks even more.
Yeah. Well, what he does, he goes crazy because he gives up his manhood and gets weak and goes crazy and tries to plow the ocean. No, plows the seashore, and he's plowing it backwards, okay? And people are marveling on how fucking crazy he is. And he finally transforms into a woman. I forgot how he transformed into a woman.
I vaguely remember that.
Gets married, has kids, and raises them, and does laundry, and fucking, washes dishes and shit. And fucking lives a whole fucking life.
Blows.
Yeah, lives a whole fucking life as a woman. The husband dies and shit like that. And he's like, this shit fucking sucks. He's like, fucking...
tell me about it, Herc.
You can't escape hardship. I think I'd rather be a man. And he goes back and becomes a man again. So, you would say... we see that today and go, man, this is obviously a morality tale. But the ancient Greeks probably considered... That was, to them, that was a holy story. They probably thought that actually happened. Or at least, you know, the uneducated do that. But it's a morality tale. It's like, don't...
Quit your whining.
Don't lose your manhood because it's fucking hard. It's hard to be a woman too. Don't even try to escape it. That's
like I said, being a woman probably sucks even more. Especially like back then, it probably would have really sucked more.
Yeah, and then they'd go, you learn from Hercules. He did it, and he didn't like it.
Don't make the same mistake, Hercules.
Even Hercules couldn't put up with that shit.
But I'm gonna say, like, I feel like I really, really love this movie, but I think the thing about it is that if Ray Harryhausen hadn't done the effects, I don't know if people would still be, like, talking about it today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's, like, one of the things that's a problem, like, I kind of feel like the best things about it are, like, the woman that plays Hera, Honor Blackman, like, she's great. and the guy that plays Zeus, and the guy that plays Hercules, even though he's a dick and he gets like for stealing stuff after they specifically told him not to because Hercules cannot follow instructions, and he gets his friend squished, but at least he has, you know, he has the decency to like feel bad afterward, and like, but he's not in the movie long enough. Because he stays on the Isle of Bronze, like, after his friend gets squished, because he's like, oh, I gotta stay here, and then they were like, well, we're not leaving without Hercules, but then Hera's like, oh, we got some other shit, like, we got planned for him. So I guess they're, like, referring to, like, the Trials of Hercules that came along later. But the guy that played him was, like, really good. He was, like, really entertaining. I have to say the guy that played Jason, whose name was Todd Armstrong, while a very handsome man, I don't know if he was really all that charismatic. You know what I mean? Did you feel that?
Which guy again?
The guy that played Jason.
No, he's just kind of generic.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really think he was in that many more movies, if I remember correctly. El Padrino said, "Forgive my ignorance. I never heard of this movie. I'll watch it tonight." Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of one of those classic ones from the 60s, those big like fantasy movies. And like, if you're at all into like Ray Harryhausen or like stop motion, then you should totally watch it, because the stop motion that's in this is really, really good. And I really like, I mean, the skeleton battle, of course, is like epic, but I really, really like the Talos thing. Like where the bronze statue like comes to life, because man, what a great fucking shot that is when Hercules and his little buddy are on the island, and Hercules steals the brooch pin, and then like the statue like turns its head, and they're like, oh shit, like now we're in trouble, and the fucking thing is like giant. And I think one of the best things about that, like, it's kind of like it moves like something that would be made of metal, and I love the sound design, like it, because it makes that like that kind of metallic like scraping noise, like when it moves. It's awesome.
El Padrino, if you like this one, then you watch 1981 Clash of the Titans. All right, it's another Greek one, and same Ray Harryhausen stop motion, a little more updated special effects. It had to now compete with Star Wars. So they even had a mechanical owl in there. Boobo. To compete with R2-D2.
Yeah.
But that's another good story.
Yeah, that has to do with Perseus and Medusa.
Also talking about Lou Ferrigno as Hercules.
Yeah.
If you go back even earlier to like the late 50s, you had Steve Reeves, who was Arnold Schwarzenegger's hero.
Yeah, he was in a lot of those Hercules
Steve
movies.
Reeves is probably, most guys in the bodybuilding scene consider Steve Reeves to probably be the most aesthetic man to have ever existed. And there's some controversy of whether or not he used any anabolic assistance, if he was on testosterone or any kind of steroids. He says no, and gave a bunch of reasons, and he shows signs of being natural. And that dude's fucking physique was fantastic. You just Google him right now, Steve Reeves. He was I think he was natural, and he would have been a genetic phenomenon. But he was a good actor too, and that's who Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to be. Arnold was a lot bigger, but he was, he used assistants, But a lot of good shit came out of the Greek movie, fucking thing. I haven't seen a Hercules, Steve Reeves Hercules in a long time, but I remember him being pretty good. I think
Mystery Science Theater did one or two of them. They did a lot of Hercules movies, but I don't remember how many of them were Steve Reeves.
And I think some of them had Ray Harryhausen in it with Steve Reeves, didn't it? Wasn't there some monsters that he fought that were stop motion?
Oh, maybe. I can't remember actually. I can't remember.
I think there was some stop motion in it. Have to see that again. But and then if you see these two Ray Harryhausen Greek flicks, you'd really like the fucking Sinbad. Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Seven Voyages of Sinbad, and what was it? Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger. I think the last one. I liked them all.
Yeah, I think we reviewed those, didn't we?
Yeah, all-star cast, British casts. Tom Baker, fucking. You had what was that hottie from who did the Warrior of Love song? Caroline Monroe. She's in one of them. But there's just it's kind of like watching a Hammer flicks. They're boobalicious. Low cut shit and fucking Persian outfits and cool shit, man. I think I like the Sinbad was a little bit better than Jason. But when you actually look at the Jason story, Jason is the Greek Sinbad. They both had ships. They were both doing stuff. I think they were both trying to get a kingdom. So
he was just going from place to place and having to like fight monsters and stuff. It's just like a big fantasy adventure kind of thing, where it's like you have to go to this thing to do this, and then you have to go to the next thing. It's like a quest, Right, what I mean?
Yeah. And I would say that they're basically the same character, just a different culture.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Juan Ramirez said the music soundtrack for Jason is awesome. Yeah, this has a really good score. It was actually done by Bernard Herrmann, who probably most famous for doing Psycho, but he also did Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Mysterious Island. He did like a lot of movies like that. I mean, he did a fuck ton. But yeah, he did the score for this one too. And a lot of people really do like the score for this. It is very good. It's very epic. But yeah, I was thinking about the Talos thing where how they killed him was because I'm watching it and like Hera told him to unscrew the little thing on his ankle.
She said, "Look to his ankle."
Right, and then he had like, and then all his like juice came out.
Yeah, a bunch of lava came out.
Well, you know what that is. Yeah. I looked at on the Wikipedia page. It said what it was. And I learned something new today, and I knew quite a bit about Greek mythology, but I'd never heard this before. That substance it's in there, it's called, what is it called? Ichor or Ichor?
Ichor.
Yeah. So I'd heard that word before, but I didn't realize that it was referring to a very specific thing. Okay. And it's a very specific thing. It's kind of like the blood or the substance that keeps the Titans like alive.
Yeah, blood of the gods.
So so that's what it is. So I was like, oh, I'd heard that word before, and I kind of knew what it meant, but I didn't know that it was that specific, like the definition. Okay. So that's what it was, because I was making the joke. It's like, oh my god, he's full of like red Kool-Aid, but you know what I mean? Like it came out, but it seemed really easy. Like, because he's like, all you had to do was like unscrew. I'm like, that seems a little bit like a design flaw. Yeah. But I guess that's from the original myth. Although in the original myth, they fought Talos on the way back from getting the Golden Fleece, like not on the way there. And Medea was with them. Okay. And Medea put a spell, I think, on Talos and made him take the shit out of his own ankle and like drain his own blood. That's another thing that I'm kind of like, because I like the Medea character in this, but they really lessened her role in this, because I mean, she did a bunch of stuff like in the myth, and in this one they didn't really. They had Jason doing some shit that she did in the myth, like when he was getting,
she was stealing Medea's thunder.
Yeah, for example, like when he was actually getting the Golden Fleece and he was fighting the Hydra, which, like I said, in the myth was a dragon. He didn't kill the dragon. She put a spell on it and made it go to sleep. And then he went in there and took it. So she like helped him out. Yeah. And then they took out some other shit she did too, because the funny thing is like he arrives there to get the Golden Fleece, and in the movie like he's being all sneaky, but one of the guys that was with him was like a mole, like went ahead and like told him, it's like, hey, he's coming to take your Golden Fleece, and then they're like, oh, you motherfuckers, you know what I mean? But like in the myth, he said to the king that he's like, hey, I'm here to take your Golden Fleece, and he's like, oh, okay, you can have it, but you have to do these 3 tasks that are like impossible, because he's like, yeah, sure, if you can do all this stuff you can totally have it. But then Jason did the tasks anyway, of course, with Medea's help, because she was a sorceress. So I was like, which is kind of like cheating. But we were kind of laughing because when he gets to the island, like where the Golden Fleece is, Medea straight up, like seconds after meeting him, pretty much, she like betrays her whole entire people, like to help him get the Golden Fleece. And I was like, man, that bitch is dick struck. She, you know what I mean? It's like she barely knows that dude. She's like, yeah, and I'll totally like betray my whole entire family and then run off with you. And actually in the myth, I think she actually even killed her brother. So, and killed somebody else. Did she kill Pelias? Maybe she did. Like in the myth, but she totally killed her brother too. Like to help Jason escape from the island. And I'm like, No dick is that awesome. Come on.
Well,
You barely know
it was the Greek golden era, It was the Greek golden age. Bitches were thirsty back then.
That's what I said. I was like, oh my God, so thirsty.
And he was selected by Hera. If Hera thought he was hot, then fucking shit, mortal women thought he was hot.
Yeah, because Hera was all.
Yeah.
I think. Well, the thing about it too was that I'm not saying that Hera didn't think that he was hot, because she did. She was like watching him all the time, like in her little thing. Look at him go. Yeah. But she felt like particularly protective of him, like he was under her protection, because when he was a baby, like I said, his mom had put him in the arms of the statue, to keep him from getting murdered by Pelias, and so she was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna like protect him. For the rest of his life. So he was like favored. But another thing that is kind of like weird about this movie is that it ends kind of abruptly. I thought.
Yeah, it's like they just ran out of shit to do, or they ran out of money.
I think I don't know if this is true.
Like there's something missing.
Well, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they were gonna make maybe like a sequel or like another one.
Okay.
Because it did kind of seem like, they get the golden fleece. He runs off with Medea. They mac and like make out, and then the gods are just kind of like, oh well, that went well. Now we got more adventures planned for Jason. Bam, the end.
But then he never went back and really claimed his kingdom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They never really fought. So it was weird because it seemed to like end kind of abruptly. But like I said, maybe because weirdly, even though this movie got like really good. Like, I feel like critics really were into it, but it didn't do... I don't think it did terrible, but it didn't do as well as they were expecting it to do. So maybe they were initially thinking that it was going to have a sequel, but then it just didn't do well enough to justify it, maybe? I don't really know. But yeah, it does seem to, like, end right away, like you don't... Because I was like, oh, okay.
A lot of times, trends change and studios just move on. They're like, no, we don't have time. We got to keep going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Juan says, in the myth, Medea ends up killing Jason and her kids. Yeah, that's right. Actually, in college, in my humanities class, we read Medea, the play by Euripides, and that doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. You know what I mean? That whole situation, and like I said, Medea is. I was gonna say worse in the myth. Like, she does more fucked up shit in the myth, but in a lot of ways she's kind of like sympathetic too, because I think the implication in the myth was that she had some kind of like, I don't know if Jason had some kind of spell on her, or if there was somebody had put a spell on her, like she like super got into Jason, because which would explain like why she just like threw over her whole entire culture and people and everything like that, like the second he showed up, and it's like, yeah, I'll totally help you. And like killed my people and shit like that. So, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, what I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to like think of like the best shit from it. Oh, and we forgot to talk about the other cool stop motion thing, which was the harpies.
Yeah.
Which like that poor old blind guy on there, like
the harpies were fucking with him.
Trying to eat, and like the harpies would come and fuck with him all the time, and he couldn't see him, and he was like swatting at him all the time.
Yeah. Now you understand why they call some women harpies to this day. Like, man, you're a harpy. It's just somebody who just drives some man fucking crazy. You
flying around, stealing my food.
Yeah, and then Jason and his boys fucking capture him, and they put him all in a cage and make him the master of the harpies. And he's back there feeding them. That's right, you listening to me now. And he was on some kind of godly welfare, because he sat out there and they came and fed him every day. Beautiful women came and just brought him all kinds of food. He was being punished, huh? Zeus was punishing him, right?
Yeah, because he apparently he had been given the gift of prophecy and he like abused it.
Okay, yeah.
So then Zeus blinded him, but I guess I don't know if they felt kind of bad, and they were like, "Well, we'll make you blind, but we'll put you out on this island and we'll feed you."
Yeah, like a prisoner.
But by the way, like we'll also have these harpies will come every day and like torment you and take all your fucking food.
Yeah.
Like while you're trying to.
Well, okay, they're doing the same thing. It did the same thing to Prometheus, basically.
Yeah.
Handing out fire to humans. Yeah, you're gonna pay. They got the damn eagles eating us down liver every day, chained up to a rock.
That's gotta suck.
Yeah, and it grows back. It grows back every day, and then it comes.
That's pretty fucked up. I can't really think of many things that are deserving of that kind of fate. Like, especially if it just went on forever.
Just don't piss off fucking Zeus, man.
I get, but what if you do it accidentally? It seems like it'd be pretty easy to do. Yeah. Like, maybe he's just in a bad mood that day. Wait a minute. El Padrino said, "Would you one day do a review of Ron by Akira Kurosawa?"
Oh yeah.
Would love to get your take on that one.
Right,
yeah, actually, we should.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I haven't either. That's like a great. That's
yeah.
a good movie.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to. I think it was a reboot of King Lear, wasn't it?
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but it's a good movie. It's an action flick, kind of like an action flick.
Yeah, I remember that being like really good.
The good action scenes involving fucking arrows. I think that, and by looking at it, they actually did shoot arrows at that guy. Arrows were coming and sticking into the ground.
Yeah,
and it looked real. As someone who fucking is an archer, I got my fucking bow. I'll go get that bitch, and that looked like real arrows. They didn't look like they were very powerful, but I'd have to go back and go look and see how strong a Japanese bow was from that era. Probably pretty strong. Probably 50, 60 pound pull, at least. Although I heard some people say that some of that shit was 150 pounds. I don't know how they could hold an arrow together at 150 pound pull. Probably just tear it up.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah. They just, because usually the first thing that happens is the feathers get ripped off. The fleshing.
Yeah. Hugo says, you guys should watch Eric the Viking, 1989 with Tim Robbins. It's pretty good. I remember liking that movie. I saw it a lot on cable, like, back in the day. Tom Sykes said, someone should do a film about the cannibal Sawney Bean and his inbred cannibalistic family in stop motion. Oh my god, I would totally watch that.
What is it?
Sawney Bean.
It's a stop motion movie?
No. Oh. Somebody should make a stop motion movie about the real case. Oh, okay. It was a family of cannibals. That was...
When was that?
Shit. 1800. We did a show about it a long time ago. Okay. I want to say it was 1800s. Was it Scotland?
All right.
I want to say it was Scotland.
I remember what you're talking about now. I think they put them all to the wheel, didn't they?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we did that show. But yeah. El Padrino said, speaking of Greek mythology, has there ever been a story of Sisyphus in film? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there had to have been. I feel like most of the Greek myths have been made into films, like, at some point or another. But, I mean, I really like the idea, because they did the same thing with Clash of the Titans. I like the idea of, like, all the gods just, like, hanging out, like, up in Olympus and just, like, watching all the fucking little humans, like, running, like, they're watching reality TV, and it's like, now, let's fuck with them. Let's fuck with them. You know what I mean? And they did that in Clash of the Titans, too. They had, like, all the... Cause I used to think that was so cool when I was a kid, because in Clash of the Titans, they have, like, everybody on Earth, apparently, they have, like, a little chess piece of you. Yeah. And they can, like, put you in the little arena and, like, fuck with your shit and, like, make you do things and stuff.
Yeah, after you see this one, you got to see Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, it's like a really good...
It's almost like a sequel, in a way.
Pretty much. Like, even though it's about, like, different obviously, things, it's about different things.
It's definitely the same universe, and it's definitely the same kind of talent level. I think Clash of the Titans might even had a bigger budget.
Yeah, I think it did. And I'm going to say, like, as far as it goes, like, Clash of the Titans, I think I like slightly better than Jason and the Argonauts, even though I think Jason and the Argonauts, like, I really like
this. It was the original.
Yeah, and I really like the stop, like, particularly the stop motion, like the skeleton fight and like and Talos and all of that. I really like the just the set pieces that Ray Harryhausen did for that. But I'm gonna say I think I like the movie Clash of the Titans slightly better. I think because the acting, like the actors are more charismatic. Yeah. Like Harry Hamlin isn't it? Like he's Perseus. Yeah. And, like, I don't know, I just really, really like it. Ursula Andress is in it. Like, a lot of, like, really big, things. And I really, really like that whole end sequence with Medusa is, like, super cool. And I really like the Stygian witches. And, Burgess Meredith is in that shit, too. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like that's... I mean, and I'm not saying, like, there's really good actors in Jason and the Argonauts, too. Like I said, I really like the guy that played Hercules. I really like the guy who played Zeus and, like, the woman that played Hera. Like, those are really good. But I kind of feel like Jason and some of the other actors were just, like, a little bland or, like, a little generic, so it wasn't as... Now, I did like Medea. I've seen that actress before. I think maybe she was on some Star Treks.
Yeah, something like that.
I think she must have been. But we were laughing at her, too, because remember how, when he got to the island, like, how fucking thirsty she was? Yeah. You know, when he was, like, fighting the Hydra, like, for the fleece, which, like I said, is fucked up, because in the myth, she actually, like, helps, but in the movie, she just, like, stands there and watches. But she's, like, standing there watching him fight the Hydra, and she looks like she just wants to like fucking hump him.
Yeah,
like
she's loving it.
Yeah, she's like just the look on her face was like hilarious. Like when they did some of her, she's like, oh yeah, fight that Hydra.
She's having like a fucking, she's having a moment, you know. It's kind of like she's watching a Frazetta painting of fucking like, male bravery, and it's just like, you know, she's fucking being sucked into it, you know. But I think I like. This is a good movie, but I think I like Clash of the Titans better.
I think
it flowed
I do too.
better, more colorful, like you said, more charismatic characters, better action sequences. The shit was shot a little bit better in Clash of the Titans. We're talking about 1981 Clash of the Titans, not the fucking bullshit one that came out in 2000.
That CGI fest.
Yeah, no, that fucking piece
no
of shit.
No, thank you.
Nope, no character. We're talking about the original. And Hera and Zeus fucking would come in and steal a show. Fucking Hera bagging on fucking Zeus for chasing after. Oh, you chasing after your little mortal girls again? He's, oh no, not at all. You know, like it just, yeah. So they had that whole thing going, and
ooh, and this stuff
they're
with
fighting over they're fighting over Perseus, and she's got a little statue of him. Perseus was her son, right? Or was it?
No, it was Zeus's son
with some girl
with Danae.
That's right.
A mortal woman. So he was a demigod too.
That's right.
Yeah, he had gone and knocked up a mortal woman.
Hera was pissed about it still. Didn't she do some shit to try to fuck him over a couple times? Blew some wind on him or something and fucked his boat up, I think.
Well, she was the one that put him. Remember, she put him like in. She took him off the island where he grew up and like just stuck him in the middle of fucking.
That's right. She's trying to make life hard on him.
Right.
Because he was born of another woman.
Right.
I remember that, yeah.
And then there was like, I really liked all the stuff in Clash of the Titans with Calabas as well.
Yeah.
Like he was super cool, where he got like all.
And who was he related
deformed.
to? Wasn't he related?
That
to
was
Hera,
no, that was Thetis, the goddess Thetis. That was her son.
Okay.
And he did something.
Did something evil and got twisted.
He did. Yeah, he did something like to make Hera mad. I feel like maybe I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was Zeus or Hera like made it, and so I think it was Zeus. But I can't remember exactly what he did. It's been a while since I've seen it. So they made him look all fucked up. Like they made him look like the devil, kind of.
Yeah, he kind of looked like a satyr.
Yeah. Like they had a tail
and fucking horns and.
He looked really cool. I liked that whole and then like he had that whole thing where he had like the riddle.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the riddle of with the princess and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, was that the devil looking guy? Yeah. Calabas.
Yeah.
That was who that was.
He was.
I think he was my favorite character.
Yeah.
And then you had the Kraken like at the end, so that was like really cool too.
Clash of the Titans happened because of Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah.
And the original Star Wars were these movies. They served the same purpose.
Yeah.
You'd be a kid in the theater, and they're taking you to a fantasy world, to new lands, and you're seeing fucking weird shit. Star Wars came, it's the same thing. They're taking you to new planets, you're seeing new aliens, you're seeing new ships and guns. So it was the same basic concept. Well, shit like Jason and the Argonauts looked real tired by the time Star Wars came out, so they had to really kind of up the game, and they came out with Clash of the Titans. And that was around the time of like Return of the Jedi, I think, right? Or or no, it would have been Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Yeah, because Clash of the Titans was 81. That came out in 81.
And I was watching them, and I was a kid, I'd watch them side by side, enjoy them both.
Yeah, same.
They thought they were great. So, if you're into Star Wars, you'd like these old Greek movies. Just look up anything that had Ray Harryhausen in it. You'd like it.
I mean,
and
like
the Sinbad ones.
He has never really been topped like Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
You could tell that he had just such affection
for what he was
and
doing.
passion for what he was doing. And he was just such a perfectionist. Like I said, even nowadays, this movie came out in like 1963, and even nowadays that skeleton fight looks amazing. Like it looks, they come out of the ground, like, you know what I mean? Like the dude like sews the Hydra teeth, and then like the little skeletons come out of the ground, and then they all like get into formation with their little shields and shit.
Yeah, Harryhausen was like the special effects guy.
Yeah.
Okay, for his era. So if it was going to be a big budget fucking fantasy flick, it was going to have Ray Harryhausen working on it. And that's the ones you want to see. Just look at whatever movie he was in, the Sinbad movies, the Greek movies, and they're good, real good. And you think he did that one of the Beast in 20,000 Fathoms or something?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
He did that one.
That was one of his earlier ones because I remember that one was black and white.
I think he might have done the one where about the fucking the alien that came from Venus. Remember that? 20 million miles to Earth or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Where they
Shit, I can't remember now.
I think that might have been that was 50s.
Yeah, because like I said, prior to this might have been kind of his first big Hollywood epic movie. Like, the ones he had done before had been kind of more, like I said, more B movies or more sci-fi or whatever. So I think this was kind of like his big. But there's really something about these movies from this era, like Jason and the Argonauts and, you know, like the Sinbad movies. I think it's just like, I love like the Technicolor look of them. Like the color is like super saturated and just the costumes and the sets and shit like that are amazing. Like the scene toward the end where you have, where he goes to Medea's like, place and they have like that big temple shot with all the girls dancing and stuff like that. That looks fucking great. Like the set design is really, really awesome too. But, I mean, the main reason to watch this, not going to lie, is the Ray Harryhausen effects. I mean...
Yeah, the acting's a little dry.
It is.
And, but
it's a cool story,
It's worth seeing.
Like, the whole, we forgot to mention, too, that whole clashing rock sequence, like, with the guy with Triton, like, coming out of the water and stuff. That also looks good. Yeah. And that's not stop motion. That was, like, a guy that was, like, what do they call it? A process shot, right? Yeah. Where it's just, like, a two-layer kind of thing.
He's holding the mountains back.
And that looks great, too. I mean, for fucking 1963. Yeah. They spent a lot of money on this shit, like, for the time period.
Yeah. Real good special effects for the time.
Richard Brown says Wallace and Gromit. Oh my god, I love Wallace and Gromit. Like, that's some fucking great stop motion right there. That's Nick Park Studios. And that's technically is that claymation because I think they use plasticine or they use that kind of like clay. Whereas I feel like, I don't know, it's not really that much of a difference, I guess. El Padrino said, did the original Twilight Zone use claymation? I don't know.
Yeah, they had some claymation stuff.
I thought they did. And somebody mentioned The Gate earlier from 1987, which also has some great stop motion effects in it. We did a review of that a little while back. Like, my favorite bit of that was like the dude, like a human, and he falls down, and then he turns into like a bunch of little demons that were claymation. Yeah. And it's like, that looked awesome. That still looks awesome.
So I guess El Padrino is going to watch both the Greek ones tonight.
Yeah, he said he'd seen Clash of the Titans, but he hadn't seen Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, Jason's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen fucking Sinbad movies, see them all.
Yeah, I like all the Sinbad movies.
There's three of them. Yeah.
I like all the Sinbad movies too. All right, so you ready to wrap it up so we can go eat some food? Yeah. All right, so hope you guys are having a good New Year's Day. And tomorrow we're going to do a Haunting Mondays. So I don't know what episode we're going to do yet. I don't know if we want to do Ghost Soldier, like I said, because that one is kind of boring. So we'll have to like find something else to watch. I don't know. We might do another season 7 one, or we might go back and do
a bunch of the older seasons we haven't talked about.
That's true.
Some of them are good.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Because I was kind of like the season 7 one was fun, but I kind of like the older ones better. All right, so thank you, everybody, for dropping by today. Have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.